The Alex Belfield In Conversation podcast with daisymedia.co.uk.
Alex Belfield. Well, you join me here with, well, a legend really. Tony Christie, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
It's really nice to talk to you because the thing about your music is it's feel good. Everybody likes it. It makes everybody feel happy, which is nice.
Well, it makes me feel happy, so hopefully it makes other people happy as well.
What's it like being back? Because the first time around you were hugely successful. Now you're back and you're even bigger still. Is it as fun now?
I think it's more enjoyable now. It's always better the second time round. I don't know why, but it is.
Is it maybe because you're less desperate to be a success because you already are successful? You've got nothing to prove, in other words.
I think I'm more laid back. I think a lot of it is to do with age. I'm mature, and I've been there. I've done it, and I appreciate it this time. I think the first time round I was so busy I didn't have time to actually sit down and appreciate it. I was just everywhere.
You're back on tour. How are you being received by audiences now? Is it different to how it was 3 years ago?
3 years ago, no, it's exactly the same. Since the resurgence of Amarillo, what I have found is that I've got a bigger cross section of audience. The biggest, I expected the kids because of it was such a big thing with the marching and the walking and everything. But the biggest thing I've found that since I came back to the UK is that I seem to have acquired a cult following amongst students, and I've done a few university gigs, which I got to be honest, I went into with a lot of trepidation, but my God, I did come out feeling good because I was received probably as good as I've ever been received anywhere in the world.
I think now more than ever, thank God we got through the 90s. People just want to enjoy it, don't they?
Yeah, and I think what is a good thing at the moment, there is a resurgence of, as you said, people wanting to hear the old songs. Who can explain the success of Rod Stewart's American Songbook? He sold more albums than he did with his rock stuff. He did, I think, 16.5 million albums. And apparently, when he made it, he says, "If only we could sell 100,000, I'd be delighted." So, it's due to people like him and due to people like Jamie Cullum that's bringing it back. My new album is a similar sort of thing. I'm going back to the basics, really, of recording great songs and doing it organically, doing it without all the electronics, doing it with just world-class musicians.
We've got to talk about Amarillo and Peter Kay. Did you know what he was going to do before he did it?
No. I hadn't a clue. You mean the video?
Well, and the song, putting it in the programme and then making it the big success that it became.
No, I was surprised when it was used in. I watched it. I was living in Spain at the time. I watched the famous episode with the Asian elders, and I almost fell off my chair when he started singing Amarillo and trying to get the Asian elders to join in. And since that episode, that's when it all sort of kicked off and when it snowballed, really. What he did with the video for the comic relief was that was his idea. It was to just get everybody with a green background, blue screen, and have them on a walkway and just acting silly, really. I wore his suit when I was on that awful purple suit with the Hawaiian shirt was Peter Kay's suit. It was his idea that I wore it, and with a Peter Kay lookalike on either, with himself on one side and the lookalike on the other side. But the suit was about 10 sizes too big. I had big bulldog clips down the back I had to wear braces, otherwise the trousers would have been around my ankles. That was his idea, and the way it took off was phenomenal. The way it absolutely. It's indescribable how it took off.
Did you think that this part of your life was over in terms of releasing new albums and touring big arenas in the UK?
I did. I thought, to be honest, I thought my career in the UK was finished completely. I couldn't see any way back. But at the same time, I was doing so well elsewhere that I was okay. But it's nice, in your own land. It's nice to be appreciated and to be able to come back and live here and work here and once again make the music that I feel that I should be making.
You're not going to be able to answer this question, but I'll ask it you anyway. What makes a song like Amarillo so singable and so special?
Do you know if I knew the answer to that? If I knew how to write a song like that, and you could say, well, that is a hit song, it's impossible. It's impossible. In fact, when Siddhartha, who wrote the song, he sings it differently. When we heard it, we said, well, no, that line is wrong, and so I sang a different line. And when we did it together, he says, you sing it wrong, He says, you sing a harmony line. He says, no, we think that is a better tune than that little line is better than the one you wrote. And he still insists that his line.
And who can blame him?
Is this the way to Amarillo? And he sings, I've been weeping like a willow. And we thought, well, no, because I've been weeping like a willow. So we changed it.
What's it like going back on stage now, knowing that you've got this great resurgence through one song alone, and then getting everybody to hear the rest of your repertoire? That must be a thrill.
Well, the thing about the song being a hit is that the album that came out at the same time with the definitive collection, which is we're waiting for the figures to say it's triple platinum. The fact that all the people that bought it had never heard of me went out and said, well, we've got to have the album. So I've got all these kids who now have got a back catalogue, all my back catalogue, and they know all the songs. So when I do a concert or a show, they know them. Which is, you're halfway there if they know the song.
Presumably it is just a party, your show, because that's the kind of music you do, isn't it?
That is what I'm known for. I mean, the pop stuff. But basically, Amarillo is not really representative of what I am as a singer. I started out being more like Tony Bennett than that kind of music, if you know what I mean. And so this new album is really back to basics and getting back to doing what I feel that I'm best at. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not bad at pop music, because I really am. I think I've done pretty well out of the pop side of the business.
I think you can say that. Now, your life back in Spain, have you still got your place there, or are you back here for good now?
We've sold the house. We've got a nice plot of land which we're keeping in case we do decide to ever go back and live there. But to be honest, I'm so enjoying working back in the UK and being back home, as I put it. The weather's not in spite of the weather, I'm back in the UK, so let's put it that way.
Whereabouts were you in Spain?
I was in a little place called Majaca, and it's lovely. I've got a friend who I play golf with over there, and he keeps sending me little texts on my BlackBerry, and today he sent me one saying, all he said was, today it is 28 degrees.
It's similar here.
I've stopped replying to him now, because I've run out of swear words.
It becomes vengeful, doesn't it, after a while?
Exactly.
It's great to have you back, and I know you're doing loads of other stuff as well, and TV appearances and things. Is it nice to be able to do that?
Yeah, it is. It really is nice. I enjoy it. And it's great to be invited to do things like Countdown, and I'm doing The Weakest Link, charity one for Christmas time. So it's great to be back on them. I'm having a second childhood, if you like. I'm really enjoying myself.
I interviewed Joe Pasquale last Friday, who's also back on tour, and he said that he can't understand how 20 years he was touring the clubs and doing the theatres and very, very successful. Then he sits in a jungle for 2 weeks, does nothing, and suddenly he's got primetime ITV shows. It's funny how one little thing in your life or career can turn everything around, and suddenly you go from having a song that's just sat on a shelf to one man playing it in a programme. The next minute you're touring again, being requested to do every radio show. It's bizarre, isn't it?
It is, and it is the flip of a coin, really. I mean, the Pasquale thing, yeah. I mean, that was a dip to me. That program was demeaning, but I mean, I thought it was funny before I went on that program. So, but the fact that it made him accessible to millions more people. That's why it happens. This is why the X Factor is so big, and why people are fighting to get on there, because it's instant fame, really.
I presume you must have been asked to do a lot of the reality shows. Would you consider doing them?
No. I mean, I was. No, I'm not going to name them, but there are certain ones I would certainly never ever do.
What about the dancing one? Because that's not too bad, is it? Because it's not really interfering in your private life. It's just seeing you as something like that. Is that of interest to you?
I reckon I could handle that. Yeah. Whether my knees could handle it, I don't know. If they started doing the Paso Doble and the tango and all that, we have to. I'm not sure about that anymore. I think all those years of banging golf balls has done my legs in.
That's all the activity you need.
That's all I need at the moment.
Tony, thank you so much for talking to us. And if you want to find out more, you can go to the website at tonychristie.co.uk and find out when he's on tour. He's coming to a theatre near you. Thanks so much for talking to me.
My great pleasure. Thank you.
The Alex Belfield In Conversation podcast with daisymedia.co.uk.
Alex Belfield.